WEEI Late Night with KJ.
Those guys and other new acquisitions have talked about the fact that the Patriots environment is a little more loose and fun than perhaps they had anticipated from the outside, where there's this feeling that there's a lot of obviously process and structure that exists within the Patriots organization.
Well, that's because you guys portray it that way.
Is that something that's changed over the years, or have you always had that philosophy of behind closed doors of making it a environment that is as fun as it is structured?
Yeah, well, I think the fun comes in winning, and that's really what it's about. But we've certainly had our share of, and I've taken my share of jabs from Vrabel and Matt Light and Edelman and Seau, and go right down the line. But that's part of being a team, and part of the relationship is being able to work together. But there's certainly a lot of light moments, and there's more of them when you're winning. And so I don't know, but I can't really worry about what everybody on the outside thinks or doesn't think or whatever. What's important to me is our team and the relationships that we have on our team, and how to most productively put a winning team on the field, and that's really what I'm trying to do.
Turn it up. Don't mess with Bill. It's an oldie, but he's goodie. It's KJ Late Night here on WEEI. Thank you so much for hanging out. Hope you're having a wonderful Friday, and that things are not going too crazy trying to find turkeys. It's just ridiculous. Coming up next hour, the biggest jive turkeys in the history of Boston sports. 10 of them I've identified. That's coming up here late night. Don't mess with Bill. You got the fancy Sean McVays and the Matt Nagy's and the Kevin Stefanskis. But an oldie but goodie, Bill Belichick, you don't mess with. See, as these guys come into the league, he's 31 years old and he knows how to pass 17 different ways. But when the weather gets cold, ask Buffalo on December 6th and they'll tell you about it. They lose all that mystique. Why? Don't mess with Bill. Defend, run, then pass. See, look, I've been all over the spectrum. Nick LePan, how are you? Good to be working with you again. I think the last time I saw you, I think Carter was president.
Yeah, it was probably back in July, maybe?
Yeah, something like that.
It was the hurricane day when the Rangers were supposed to play.
That's right. Where the Red Sox game was rained out because of, let's just call it what it is. You can't be outside in the middle of a hurricane watching baseball. But as things have developed with Mac Jones, and if even you remember, Nick, I thought that Mac would replace Cam, and what do you know? They both win. Right? Like Cam's got a job somewhere else and he starts it this week, and Mac is picking up around the point that I said, hey, this team would turn things around come week 8. Defend, run, pass. The Patriots are number 1 in the league going into last night in field position. That sets up a rookie quarterback. How do you get that? Defense. Number 5 in the league in turnover percentage. That's defense. 4th in the league in defensive turnovers. 2nd in the league in points allowed. That's dropped down when you put a big fat 0 up. 4th in the league in yards per play. If you saw last night, it went down again. And number 2 in the league in rushing touchdowns allowed. That probably went down last night because nothing happened. Don't mess with Bill when it comes to playing the defense. In the whole narrative of Tom versus Bill and the breakup and how ugly it was, there were so many who said Tom made everything. That's like saying there's no such thing as a Y chromosome just because guys and girls both have X's. If you want a boy, you're going to need some defense. Bill knows the secret to this league is no matter how deficient or novice your offense may be, your defense will give you a chance. The Patriots are 10th in the league in rushing, 5th in the league in rushing touchdowns, 8th in the league in getting first downs by the run, and 7th in the league in rushing attempts. Defend, run, pass, don't mess with Bill. Now, when it comes to passing, the Patriots are 16th in passing attempts in the league, 14th in passing touchdowns, 12th in passing for first downs, 15th in the league in touchdown passing percentage, 17th in the league in yards per catch, 14th in the league in yards per game. You know what? So what? Defend, run, pass. 617-779-7937 or the text line 37937. It's KJ Late Night here on WEEI. Coming up at 10:45. Oh, my gosh. Nick, you know how everything is going haywire in Massachusetts. Can you gamble? Can you not gamble? Do I have to always drive to Connect? Well, you know, we've got this thing called the Squid Games. I don't think you've been around for the Squid Games, which, have you seen the Squid Games on Netflix?
I have not, no.
Okay, so the premise of it is that some people are willing to gamble such high stakes that, like, even a kidney could be involved, that I've got some Squid Game picks that you have to drive down to AC. And one of the Squid Game picks, you may need to plan your trip to go to Atlantic City tomorrow morning, like at 10 o'clock, if this particular news hits. It's worth $5 million. $5 million on a $1,000 bet? That's at 10:45. See, when I say don't mess with Bill and his methodics and his thought process when it comes to this emerging game that we see on our screens, the exciting $500 million Patrick Mahomes or the Josh Allen who always runs to the right to escape and then throws the ball deep, these are things that Bill says, you know what? I can shut those things down. Give me tape. What do you know? In this 3-game, what I'm going to call the trilogy that people are going to remember, because people are like, oh, you know, maybe they can go 1-2 in these next 3 games. What if they go 2-1? What if they go 3-0? It's not unrealistic. Again, I will get to that Buffalo game on December 6th that I just saw something that I just said, oh my God, God really is a Patriots fan. So check this out. When the Super Bowls, where the Patriots had a top 10 defense in terms of yards allowed, it's 2007. They were ranked 4th, and yeah, they lost that one game. That game. In 1985, for those of us who are old enough to remember, they were that good. They were ranked 7th, and they lost to the Bears. But, you know, the Bears were making music videos. They were on MTV, the Fridge touchdown. It was just kind of, a lot of people put that out of their mind. 03, ranked 7th. They beat the Panthers. 16, ranked 8th, beat the 28-3 game. And 2004, ranked 9th, beat everybody except for Terrell Owens that night, but that's okay. Terrell Owens' name was not the Philadelphia Eagles, but my God, did he put on a show. 3 Super Bowl wins with top 10 defenses. Super Bowls where they were ranked 14th or lower in total passing yards, where kind of the team is right now. 03 versus the Panthers, and 01 versus the Rams. 01, 03. Now we can start to get into the Tom Brady, Mac Jones comparisons. So I hear a lot of people say, and, you know, it's about to think crazy with Tom, that his numbers are actually bigger than what they really are, is that I hear a lot of people say, well, Mac looks just as good or just the same as Tom did in his first full year. The answer is he kind of looks a little better when it comes to yards per game. Tom was only like 189. Mac is at 233. I'm not even going to deduct his numbers from last night because, hey, there's still more weeks. But let's just say Mac hangs in that 233 range and giving you the production that you're getting, because, again, the defense is lights out. The run is almost lights out. And you have an efficient quarterback who is not making mistakes. So you don't need 300 yards a game. In the losses, Mac Jones averaged 264 a game. In the losses, and in the wins, 213. So literally, Mac Jones can throw for less and win more often than what he's averaging. Don't mess with Bill. I'm trying to tell you. Here's where I'm not a big fan of trying to compare what you saw with Tom and what you saw with Mac, because let's just call it. The game is different. People are a lot faster. There's not the 300-pound sloth like Tony Saragusa just sitting out in front of you. I mean, if you see what Christian Barmore's doing, when I talked about him going into the draft, I said, hey, this guy has skills to be a first-rounder. I mean, they killed two birds with one stone by getting Mac Jones at 15 and getting Barmore at the second round. But if you see what Barmore's doing, fat guys in 2001 on the defensive line were not that fast. You know what I mean? Nick, did you see what the guy, Barmore literally jumped across the line pretty much and took a kid's lunch.
Barmore's getting double and triple teamed last night.
And that's what I'm saying. 2001, just wait for the next play. So it's a different game. But I would say the better comparison of where Mac Jones is now and what's kind of realistic with Tom is actually 2004. Wait, what, 2003? Well, wait, KJ. What? Tom averaged 230 yards per game that year. 23 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Mac's projections, 233, 19 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, except for Brady went for 14-2. Mac's projected to go 10-7. That could change. And the Patriots had an offense that was ranked lower than the top 15 and a quarterback that threw for 230 yards a game and won 14 games. Don't mess with Bill. It's the whole theme behind this. You're like, God, who's this old-ass guy on WEEI playing like a Motown? Hey, Bill knows the song. I'm sure Bill Belichick probably in some of his private time probably cuts that on. Oh, Bill, you're so dangerous. A smile comes out. We're on to the living room. Okay, that was dark there, was that not, Nick? That was a bit dark.
Smidgen, just a smidge.
Yeah. It's on to the living room. It's on to the kitchen. It's on to the laundry room. See, you now are seeing that this team is walking into a similar pattern where the defense is sailing the ship and the quarterback is serving the drinks. Now, this isn't like what Wiggy's saying as a passenger, but for those who watch The Love Boat, we're getting a little bit younger, but Google this stuff if you don't know it. The whole premise with the Love Boat back in that show that was like a big hit. Do you remember The Love Boat, Nick?
I've heard of it. I never watched it.
You've heard of it. That's the great thing for you guys. It's called Google. They'll even let you watch full episodes because of copyright, I think, at this point. The idea that everybody who came on The Love Boat, they encountered three people, right? They encountered Julie, the hostess, and she was always the smile-go-lucky, like, I really feel good that you're here. Yes. They would meet the captain because the captain would always tell you thank you. It was Julie and the captain that pretty much ran the ship. But it was the black guy, Isaac, that everybody went for laughs and enjoyed themselves and said, you know what? He's serving the drinks. He's making me feel good. I will never forget my time, not because of the hostess or the captain, because of the brother serving the drinks on deck, Isaac. Let's just face it. Mac Jones is Isaac. Belichick is the captain. And so all the excitement for Mac, I totally get. Look, after what happened last year, I mean, my goodness, anybody from Joan of Arc could have come and played quarterback, and if she threw for 400 yards in a game, at least twice, you'd say, you know what? I think Joan of Arc is the future of this team. It was just that bad last year. So I understand it, but you're not seeing a quarterback who's winning games throwing for 300 yards. You have to ask yourself, is Mac Jones really designed to be a 285-yard-per-game quarterback, and you could put it all on his shoulders, or does he benefit from having the run and a great defense? The reason why I ask is because out of all of Tom's 20 seasons, after 2004, he never passed for less than 250 yards a game. Never. Well, 2008, where it was 76 yards. But never. And here's what's crazy about Brady. When you factor in the 20 seasons, it also includes the 6 yards he threw for in his first year and the 76 yards he threw for before he had his ankle snapped. You take those 2 seasons out, Tom averages 285 a game. That's crazy. But it's not necessary from this quarterback. 617-779-7937. Text line 37937. It's KJ Late Night. So if you're saying, well, what if Mac can get there? You know what? Why does Mac just have to stay at 233? Why can't he move up? Well, you have to ask yourself, is this franchise going to pay for high-priced people because they didn't for Tom? I mean, if DK Metcalf comes available, do you see the Patriots running to go get him, or DK Metcalf, or Justin Jefferson, who's already on his way to being a stud, or a veteran like Keenan Allen? Does Bill go out and get these guys? Well, no. You go get your Nelson Aguilars. You go get your Kendrick Bournes. You go get tight ends. This is Bill's ship. It is. So here's where current quarterbacks are in the 265 yards per game, which is what Tom's average is with those two games in, right? Tom Brady, Derek Carr, Matthew Stafford, Patrick Mahomes, Dak Prescott, and Josh Allen. Now, keep in mind, as I mentioned, Brady's rookie season is counted in, as well as the broken leg game, into his 20-year career. So let's say Mac is really let's just say he stays in the 230 neighborhood. Dante Culpepper, Drew Bledsoe, Jay Cutler, Blake Bortles, Cam Newton at 224. Like, oh, God, KJ, are you going there? At least I didn't say Chad Pennington, right? And he's just below Joe Flacco, Andy Dalton, Josh Allen, Ryan Tannehill, Sam Bradford, Russell Wilson. Two of those quarterbacks have won Super Bowls, Flacco and Russell Wilson. And what did they have? Defense. So in the bigger picture of all of this, and I hear my buddy Wiggy, God bless the dead, or God bless the living for that matter. There can be a feeling of somewhere where you're like, oh, God, there's a Saban kid, and he's getting all this hype and everything like that. But he fits the narrative of what Bill is trying to regain control of. Here's Nick Wright discussing the Patriots' defense is Super Bowl quality.
Listen, the Patriots absolutely have a Super Bowl caliber coaching staff. And I think, I'm not certain yet, but I think they have a Super Bowl caliber defense. We're going to learn more about the defense over the next month. But this is why I think some folks that watch sports television get annoyed with the obsession our shows have with the quarterback position. Because last night was about a list of things. None of it is Mac Jones. Does anyone believe that if Mac Jones and Matt Ryan switched teams before the game, the result would have been any different? If anything, if the Patriots had a quarterback that when the one time he threw the ball downfield didn't get it picked off, if the Patriots had a quarterback that Bill Belichick trusted enough to go, throw the ball on 3rd and 4 instead of run the ball and then punt, they probably would have scored more than one offensive touchdown.
Don't mess with Bill. It's a Belichick team. Well, to continue the conversation here, we got a trend, 617-779-7937, 3937, the text line. Talk more about how this construct is really going to help the future of this team, but it's really about Belichick's design. Hang out. It's KJ Late Night here on WEEI. It's time to trend.